I'm Tom, and this is the setup portion of the video. So this whole setup started with just playing around with the Hulk and the Doc Samson figure. Doc Samson was a new one that I found just in a local toy store. So I figured he was worth putting into a setup, and I thought obviously with the Hulk. So once I got the Hulk balanced, I decided I was going to try and cram his foot into that sort of little join there, but it just wasn't happening. So I got some of this wax, which is the Baby Bell wax, the green variety, which just happens to be the exact right green for the Hulk skin tone. That's the Hulk from the Avengers pack. So I really like this setup with the these two figures to get it balancing just right. This is almost my favourite position I got these two into. You can see that the Hulk's hand isn't quite touching the floor, which I was really quite proud of, that I got both of these figures just on his legs. I think it looks pretty dynamic. There's a lot of motion going on. It's a shame you can't get Samson's head to look down a little further. I think it would have been quite cool if I could have got him to look down more at the Hulk. Here I've lifted the Hulk's arms up and he's looking around at Samson. Now this is probably my favourite pose I got these guys into, because it looks quite unbalanced. Samson really looks like he's almost flying through the air, almost as if he's not even touching the Hulk. This is one of those poses that you get him into once and it looks really cool, and then you decide to move some other stuff around and you can never get it back into this position. So I'm quite glad I caught it on film. I would have liked to have made this the video with some other stuff around it, but it just doesn't always work out that way. The weak point for not being able to get it back into this position is Doc Samson's ankle, which starts off fine as soon as you get it out of package. As I mentioned, this was a new figure, but then the more and more you play with it, and the looser and looser it got. Now I've heard one way round of, sort of loose joints is to put super glue in them and then continually move them to sort of make sure the super glue doesn't set properly. But that involves putting super glue on your action figures, and I'm a bit hesitant as to sticking glue on my figures in case I ruin them forever. Although saying that, a weak ankle which stops you being able to stand your figures up probably ruins them anyway. So by this point, I'm sort of looking at it and I'm happy with the poses, but I'm wondering why they're fighting in an alleyway when just behind the fence I've got some cool barrels of what looks like radioactive goo going on. So I've decided to move them over to the other side of the fence, and I like the way it works. It looks a little more scientific, and that barrel with the green and the yellow bringing out the yellow in Doc Samson's belt, I think works pretty well. So I figure this whole setup could use a little more yellow. Now if you collect Marvel Universe figures and you want to add more yellow to a display, there's really only one answer, and that's AIM figures. The explosion that I've added here is also more yellow wax, again from the Baby Bells. So that about wraps it up. For more videos from me, including updates on the prizes I gave away from my 100 subscribers competition, don't forget to click that subscribe button.
That's crispy.